What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. So today we got the update notification finally, and we know the full batch of the weapon refines. So gonna be discussing this update in this video. So we already knew that Alm and Naga are going to be getting their refines, but now we also have Hilda getting her refine, and this is the first hero relic to get a refine. So Free Kugel is not the greatest weapon because it checks for the defense of the ally, and I mean it can provide you support and it can also give extra offenses to Hilda, but we just have better and more consistent inhittable weapons. So I hope that she can get something better that can make her stand out, because there's not too much of a competition when it comes to an axe infantry compared to sword infantry, so it's a bit easier to get better in that sense. So yeah, she's probably going to be getting something offensive and maybe something a bit more supportive as well. Maybe she can take inspiration from her summer version as well and provide even better support. Rutger is finally getting a refine, and Rutger is a crit god in Binding Blade. If you've played Binding Blade, then you definitely know that Rutger is a really solid unit there, but unfortunately that didn't really translate well to heroes. But now finally he's getting weapon refine, and this is a bit of a similar case to Marissa, where Marissa is fast, she doesn't have the highest attack and has a bit more HP than a lot of the other units. It's kind of similar with Rutger, so I hope that he can get something like a true damage, or maybe he can ignore damage reduction. That would be quite unique for a free-to-play unit. Grail units have got pretty good weapon refine so far, especially in the recent times, so I definitely have high hopes for him, but still sword infantries are really competitive. We also have Keaton getting a weapon refine to his Volskin Fang, and these units pretty much live and die by their weapons. And Keaton's weapon is already pretty decent with the dual phase brave effect, so all he needs is maybe, you know, more true damage and, you know, some kind of damage reduction that could make him bulky, and he's going to be getting the tempo skill and his infantry transformation effect, so that is just amazing. So I'm really looking forward to Keaton's weapon refine, because I'm starting to get back into the Vante strategy, especially with Winter Bernadetta and especially with the Chaos season, so going to be looking forward to his refine. And we also have Mufasa getting his refine. Cannot really say his actual name, otherwise YouTube will demonetize me. But yeah, Mufasa has been absolutely destroyed ever since Fallen Edelgard came out, because you could just compare them and there's really not much of a reason to use Mufasa over her when her preferred weapon and preferred skill are so strong. So I would like to just get some kind of more enemy phase oriented skills on Mufasa, because he can still auto double compared to Fallen Edelgard, who does have that Wary Fighter built into her weapon. So maybe he could try and get some kind of guard effect, auto follow up. That is always really good to free up your slot B skill, as we have seen with Brave Hector. So I'm, expecting that with Mufasa. He does have distant counter built into his weapon, and as of right now his weapon just gives him some extra stats, and that's pretty much it. So he can definitely be improved a lot. We also have Summer Laegjarn getting her refine, and Worldly Wave basically has this dive bomb effect built into it, and a lot of Laegjarn fans, including me, did get her as a Pharma Soul, so I'm eagerly, waiting for her refine. A lot of these units who have dive bomb in their weapon, like Lewin for example, or Laegjarn here, do need that kind of partial null follow-up to bypass the followed negation effects. Otherwise you're just going to be getting walled by a lot of the far save armor units. All of the Laegjarns kinda use the foe's buffs against them, so maybe she could have that kind of effect, similar to Ascended Laegjarn or maybe the original Laegjarn's weapon refine. So I'm gonna be liking that effect quite a lot, and partial null follow-up is something that I really want to see on her. We also have Legendary Alm getting the weapon refine, and he has already gotten his remix, which we did see in the FEH channel. So now Lunar Flash 2 does have that damage reduction piercing, so it's basically a better Deadeye, and he also gets Time Pulse. So yeah, definitely pretty bad news for people who foddered their Shannon or Uller to Alm for Time Pulse and Deadeye, because he pretty much gets that anyways now. Lunar Flash 2 is definitely going to be quite good offensively, and Time Pulse can bring it to 1 cooldown, so I'm just hoping that maybe his weapon can also have some kind of Time Pulse built into it. Maybe some kind of conditional fire sweep effect similar to Brave Alm, and that would be really exciting for me, honestly, if they do that. It's always nice when they take inspiration from the previous weapons of the alts of the units and put it into a completely different class, at least for me. Naga is also going to be getting her Refine, her Remix. Her Remix does have Dive Bomb, which is a bit weird for me because Naga is not really used much offensively. She's mainly used as a support unit, as a smite bot. And a lot of people are probably just going to be running Defense Res Link on her, especially with her Remix Divine Fang Plus. Because the thing is that Thor just is so much better as an offensive flyer than Naga, and she's also supportive in nature. So it's really hard for Naga to compete with that. With Divine Fang Plus, she can provide the effective against dragon effect. It is still only for one space, and then she can also provide +6 attack and speed and the guaranteed follow-up attack in the player phase to allies within 2 spaces. So definitely a pretty nice effect with the Dive Bomb because she can outspeed a lot of these slower units and still double them through their follow-up negation. So that can definitely help her in combat. But combat is not exactly the thing people want to see with Naga, and a lot of veteran AR players as well who pretty much end up having a lot of merges on their Naga. So I hope that her Weapon Refine can provide something supportive. Maybe like she can provide the orders buff to allies within 2 spaces as well. You know, we have Spring Veronica providing that effect as well. I would really like to see that. Something just supportive is what I need from her Weapon Refine, but with Dive Bomb, that might not be a reality. This Refine batch is definitely pretty nice, but keep in mind that next month in September, we usually get Chooser Legends Weapon Refine, which means that Brave Dimitri, Claude, Edelgard, Lysithea getting their Weapon Refines. Summer Lynn is also going to be getting a Weapon Refine, and then Sothis and or Julia could also end up getting that. So Yuna is kind of skipped here, but she's probably going to be getting her Remix and Refine in November because she's going to be appearing in the Remix banner there. So yeah, we pretty much know the next month's Refine batch as well, if they, just keep it consistent. We also have the new Ephemera units, and we have Petra as one of the 5-star Ephemera units, which I think people should be getting because Petra is going to be getting a Weapon Refine, so if you like her, then that's going to be a free merge. And second of all, she does have pretty nice fodder with ground orders as well as aerobatics. Aerobatics is still not available in the Grail pool, unlike flyer formation and all of the other flyer mobility skills. So aerobatics is pretty nice for any kind of flying dancer in my opinion. And ground orders, even though it's a sacred seal, you can still run that as a slot C and run Wings of Mercy and then run aerobatics as the sacred seal of your dancers. So still, I feel like ground orders can be really helpful in your slot C. Dancers like Mirabilis, Eldigan do run ground orders, especially if you do not have Rattle Katria, then the orders buff from ground orders is going to be amazing for Ether Raid's defense, and even for your own usage, ground orders can be really helpful in arena and even in summoner duels. We also have Geese as the 5-star Ephemera, and they have been putting a lot of 4-star focuses as these 5-star Ephemera, so it's par for the course. He does have Flowing Lance Plus, which is basically a seasonal version of the Unbound Lance, or rather Unbound Lance is the non-seasonal version of it. So his weapon is not as unique as it once was because we do have Unbound Lance in the normal summoning pool. He does provide you with Infantry Pulse, so that is pretty good if you don't want to spend feathers or grails on Boyd or Marissa. I know many people have just spent so many grails on Marissa, so at this point, having Infantry Pulse fodder is going to be pretty nice for those people. And yeah, I'm people basically. We also have Kane with Wings of Mercy 3, and Wings of Mercy 3 is amazing skill for any kind of dancer, any kind of Gale Force team. So that is also a pretty worthy pickup in my opinion if you don't really summon as many Kanes. And again, that is me. We also have Marcia with Unbound Lance, which is the same effect as Flowing Lance Plus. And she doesn't really have Fury 3 at 4-star. She does have the Gap skill, which is not really all that incentivizing compared to the other fodder, but still could be a unit that you can try and get if you're trying to work on a merged project. She is a Gen 6 Lance Flyer. We also have Valentine Lissa with Staff of Tribute as well as Defense Res Ideal 2. So if you got extra medias from the Asker Mythic Summoning, then you can just fodder her for Defense Res Ideal 3 and inherit the Canto Control and the tier 4 version of the Ideal skill onto your unit. So in that sense, that fodder can be useful, and Staff of Tribute is a decent weapon. Cecilia does provide you with Escape Route, and Escape Route is not as universally useful as Wings of Mercy, but there are definitely strats that you can do with Escape Route, and in many situations it can be helpful. And then finally we've got Arthur with just Swap and Lancebreaker 2 and HP plus 5. So overall this batch is decent, nothing really too insane. I definitely like Petra here with ground orders because I do remember many years ago, I did summon Petra specifically for ground orders, and now we just have it for free, so that is pretty nice. And Infantry Pulse is always really good. So some of the other things that are included in this update, which we didn't really see in this FEH channel, is the fact that Summoner Duels is of course being updated to favor level 2200, so you can just get more rewards. And Dauntless is going to be a new captain skill that you can have. So it basically gives you a status effect similar to that of Fallen Ninian, which can give you +1 special cooldown charge on your attacks. And you can also inflict the guard effect in the cardinal direction of your captain. So it's really similar to what Fallen Ninian can do essentially. So this is not going to be a captain skill that is going to be universally useful. It's really map dependent in my opinion, because you do need to be in the cardinal direction to affect the opponent with the guard effect. The special acceleration is of course pretty nice for the captain and the allies, so you can retaliate back with the specials, and especially with Battle Catcher teams, you can definitely quad attack and just hit the enemy and nuke them with a special. So it's pretty good, but definitely quite map dependent. We just have better captain skills, and it really depends on what map this is going to be, and along with which captain skills it is going to be. Because if it's with like something like Flash of Steel or Quick Draw, then it is definitely going to be facing competition. Hex Trap is being updated to level 6, so that is going to be 65 HP. So it just keeps on increasing, which is pretty hard for a lot of range units like Yuri to HP stack. But still, you know, some of the armor units can stack up enough HP like Summer Edelgard and still function as a pretty solid Gale Force unit in the player phase. And they're also going to be adding 2 new songs when the rush comes from Binding Blade, and also the Steam Bath theme from 3 Houses. They're going to be adding Limstella and Summer Elincia into the Heroic Grails, which is really good because both of these are quite popular merge projects. They're just going to be fixing one of the visual issues with Resplendent Ishtar. And then the other stuff, we have seen this in FEH channel, like we have seen the additional maps, we have seen the units added into the 4-star special summoning rate, Ephemera being the highlight, and we have also seen the new game mode called Binding Worlds, and you can also set your own heroes that you want to dispatch to other players. Pretty much says that here. So it is going to be out on 12th August. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to this game mode. So yeah, that's pretty much the update. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously, and if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more FEH videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as the Shinon that you fodder to Legendary Alm. So with that, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.